Will the new Heroquest miniatures be made out of soft plastic? Hasbro just answered this question and many more during a Q&A video. On November 4th, 2020, they put up a 6-minute video on the Hasbro Pulse channel answering some of our questions about the game. But first, I have a couple updates about the game. We recently unlocked the female mummies, which is good, and they finally put up a high quality picture of it on their Twitter. We learned that the Dragon quest book is called the Crypt of Perpetual Darkness, though it's uncertain if we're ever going to be able to unlock the stretch goal properly, because it's 4 million and that's a ways away yet. And we also unlocked the Spirit Queen's Torment, which means we now have the Bard figure, which is pretty awesome. Alright, now into the Q&A. The first question is regarding a DMing app so that these forever DMs can actually play the game, and here's the response.
Great question. As we know, this technology didn't exist when this game first came out, but if enough people, show a demand for this, we'll definitely start to consider how to make this happen.
They corrected something that they said at the Hasbro Pulse livestream about the 28 quests. It was actually 20 between the two expansions.
Yeah, the total of those two expansions is 20 quests. Good catch.
Next, they answered a question about making more expansions or new expansions, including like the re-release of the older ones that America didn't originally get. I think that's Wizards of Morcar, and then something else.
Will you release a modern reprint for the rest of the original expansions?
Well, do you want more? Tell us which expansions you are looking for by tweeting at HeroQuest on Twitter. We'll do our best to figure out what is possible to make and then get it to you. Thanks to you, your support, and the interest, we now have no plans of stopping, and we're currently deciding what we want to tackle next.
So far, they do not have plans of making gender-swapped figures of the stretch goal miniatures, but they might if we're interested in that. Of course, HeroQuest is still going to involve that blank map so that you can make your own quests and adventures, which is very good.
The power to make your own quests is an important part of HeroQuest.
The miniatures are not detachable from their bases, they're a single piece of molded plastic.
Short and simple is no, they're not detachable from their bases.
This question is about the stretch goals if they aren't met, for example the dragon. It seems that they have no plan of doing anything with them if they aren't met, but maybe this is just a marketing ploy to try and get us to buy more before the deadline's up. We'll see.
Well, it's not in the current plan to do anything with the stretch goals after the campaign ends, so if you want them, now's the time to show it.
On the question about if the miniatures are going to be sprue cast, they answered that they would be pre-assembled.
Actually, no assembly is going to be required. The HeroQuest miniatures will come pre-assembled.
But they didn't specify if they would still be on sprues like the old HeroQuest miniatures were, even though those were also in one piece. Then they talked a little bit about what those minor changes they made to the rules were.
For example, in the US, when Zargon was placing monsters, it kind of references line of sight. So we're clarifying to Zargon they should place like monsters behind other monsters. For example, I saw that as a frequently asked question in the community. That would be like a good example of something we're just going to add a little bit more clarity to here.
When buying items, multiple players can in fact buy the same item, and they're including multiple cards of popular equipment, just so that that's actually possible.
We're going to include some duplicate cards of popular equipment, helmet, shield, longsword, and crossbow, for those players who prefer to have cards right in front of them.
And now we get into the big question that's on the thumbnail.
Will the miniatures be the softer, flexible type of plastic?
Great question. We have an example here from the factory. I think you're going to love it. The detail on it is great. I think you'll find that it's hard enough to retain its shape and not bend or sag on its own. However, if you apply force to it, it will move a little, right? So if I, put force here, it'll wiggle. But otherwise, it's a nice hard plastic.
So what this means is that it seems like even though it's going to be a soft plastic, it's going to be hard enough that it's going to avoid some of the worries that people have about extra bendy swords and stuff like that. The treasure deck will be exactly the same as the old US version.
Well, it's the same 24 cards that's in the US version of the treasure deck.
Are the purchasable equipments the same as the original North American release, or has anything been added?
We've made some addition to the armory. There you will find the hand axe, holy water, bracers, and potion of speed. We're also including a few new artifact cards from our stretch goal quest books to your artifact deck.
On the new Heroes spell cards, they're going to have the character art on the back of them, but the cards are also a standard size, so now you don't have to buy specially sized sleeves.
The character art is on the new Heroes spell cards, but with the new standard card size, you now have the option to use protective sleeves on all your HeroQuest cards.
Then they answered a question about the miniature size. They said it'd be about 30mm from foot to eye level. I just measured the old Barbarian, and from foot to head, he's approximately that size as well. Of course, the sword sticks up a little higher. They didn't actually endorse this, but I'm pretty sure there's something to do with Firestorm cards now shipping to other parts of the EU. Do some research on your own, I'm not entirely sure how that works. And that appears to be it. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please do give me a like and a sub, because that really helps me out. And I will see you all in my next video. Goodbye.
Let's work together to get those mythic tier backers, Joe's Quest, and that awesome dragon.